What's good, everybody? Thank y'all for coming to another episode of Take Time Out with Tre Mosley. I'm your host, Tre Mosley, and we got a double dose for you today. One is in Dallas, Texas, and one is in New Jersey. And I'm in Vegas, but it ain't about me. These young cats, man, you may know their faces and you may not, but you have heard them somewhat everywhere. Trailers and promos, video games. If you're a fan of football, Enrique has been doing stuff for the NFL forever. You know, as someone that's an old goat in the business, to see these young boys coming up and doing what they do, I am extremely proud of them. I'm glad they on my show today. Give it up for Enrique Josephs and Gabe Kunda, y'all.
Thank you.
They're also two of the most humble dudes I know. So, but yeah, man, I'm glad we get a chance to chop it up today, fellas. So, this is going to be unique for me because I have not had two guests on. So you are breaking history.
I'm excited.
Making history, I should say.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah.
And I think the reason that it's also going to work because you guys are tight off the camera and off the mic. Y'all are like boys.
Yeah,
So
we about to act up.
Yeah, I think that dynamic is cool. So let's start off. Now, being that you're in the Southwest and you up there in the mean streets up north, how did y'all connect and get so tight?
Oh my gosh. EJ, if I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I saw something that you were reading for NFL Films. I don't think at the time you were just signed with Atlas yet. I think it was just kind of, I know for me, I remember seeing you and you were doing some copy for NFL Films. I was like, oh my God, this guy's got a freakishly amazing voice. Who's this guy? And then at some point you signed, I signed as well, but at the same time, actually, like, right?
Yeah.
It was like, yeah.
You were a couple months before me. Yeah.
Yeah. And we DM'd each other, I think, too. And it just started, it went all from there. Like we started, we exchanged numbers, and then it started to become just like very interesting because in our business, everybody's competing and stuff like that and whatever. But we would help each other on auditions and give each other tips. Hey man, did you get this thing? I didn't get this thing. Did you see this? Okay, cool. Well, how about this? We're like giving each other game and just talking it up. Sometimes we get on the phone, man, our wives probably get pissed off at us. But we have
3 hours,
like 2-3 hours just talking game and just talking like life. And then, then we finally took a trip together to Mexico with our wives, and it was amazing. And it's just like, he's my brother. Like he is one of my close friends, I'd say.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Gabe's pretty spot on. And I remember seeing his Instagram because he was, and I don't even remember how I found or saw your eye. It like came up in my, I don't know, but I knew that he signed with Atlas. It was either like right before I signed or right after I signed. I just asked him, hey, I'm getting ready to sign with Atlas. I see you're with them. How's your experience been so far? Because he was young, he was black, and I was like, and I think there's no way to sugarcoat it, but the world, it wasn't a very black environment across the industry, especially when we're new, but like that was what 7-8 years ago now, and we were kind of like trying to, we didn't know who to talk to. I knew he was around the same age, so I was like, yo, like how's your experience been? He said it was very positive. And then I signed, and then we just, like he said, stayed in contact, and then we kind of found out too that like we were like neck and neck for jobs. Like we were like in like the final 2 or the final 3. And I never forget, we were doing something for Jason Giles for Fox.
Oh yeah.
And we read the script so similarly, but Gabe had like the smallest difference in inflection on like 2 words, and he got the job. So I called him and was like, bros, can I listen to your audition? Cause like, I know we were finalists and I just want to see like what they decided to go with. So we did that a lot. We would send each other our auditions and compare and contrast and kind of see, okay, so that's what they were looking for. Kind of, they're going here. They wanted him to go up there or whatever. And I'll never forget that one for Jason Giles. And then that was like the start of us doing that back and forth thing. So, and then we just been tight and traveled, and I've gone to his show, met up in New York City. I still got to come down to Texas. But we're gonna make that happen.
Saying, yeah, I have been to Texas. I got family out in Rome, Texas.
Oh yeah.
And out there in South Lake. So I got peoples out there, man.
South Lake, that's about 30 minutes from me. Nice.
Yeah, man. So when I get out there, we got to get down. You know, I think what's cool also, and you both have alluded to it, and I don't think it happens often in our business, being that it's very competitive and you guys are friends, that y'all actually be like, hey, so I just got this trailer for Higgity Piggity. How did you say it? Nah, man, how did you say it? And now you listening like, bruh, why you did it like that? You should flatten it out right there or bring it up. Like, I think that's real dope. Do you find that being friends and competing, you know, they always say iron sharpens iron. Do you feel it's a big plus knowing that, you know, out of 5 people, 2 is him and the other one is me? So I think that's real cool. Talk about so let me ask you this. Let's do it this way. So there's a big project. This is like the trailer of all trailers. You get it, and now neither one of you gets it. Are you like, man, did you come on, bro?
You know, I'm not maybe. No, I don't think we do. I think we've gotten to the point now where it's like, it's just like, oh, he got, I don't even think like we sweat on it much, really. I mean, I know for me, maybe at the beginning of my career, I probably wanted to know like who got that or whatever.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll talk about, oh yeah, he got that one, but it's seldom. We just like, what's for us is for us. And I think that's the key to why we kind of help each other out. Like, because it's like, what's going to be for me if I do it's going to be for me. Like the fact that with the whole Fox thing, with that, it was like one little sliver of a note that I changed that probably put me up, but we don't know. They probably woke up on you don't know. It's like, it's all up in the air. So we're typically like, hey, we lost it. That's fine. It wasn't for us anyway. I don't want it.
Yeah. And I would say it's kind of like the reverse of what you were saying. Like, we don't normally fret if like we didn't get the job. Usually we're ecstatic if the other one gets the job.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to lose a job, I'd rather lose it to Gabe, you know what I mean, than anybody else.
That's very true.
And no offense to anybody else, but I just know that, you know, I'd rather hear him on it than hear somebody else. So, and we established that iron sharpens iron thing early. Like we would say, hey, there's enough room for both of us to do our thing, to run our own races and to be in our own lanes. And to be honest, I remember I posted on Instagram like a mock read for Alita Battle Angel. And Gabe commented about the way I said theaters, like in theaters. And now I say in theaters because I used to say in theaters, in theaters. And Gabe was like, yo, bro, he DM'd me and was like, yo, try saying like without the theaters, just say theaters. Like real quick. And I was like, huh, all right. Started getting scratches. You know what I mean? And it started, and like, little thing. I mean, Gabe, VO Atlanta, 2018, prime example. I got an audition for DAZN Boxing. And we're in the room, and I was like, yo, this is what they're looking for. How would you read it? Like, what do you think? Because it was a requested for me. And Gabe gave me an idea, and I was like, I wasn't thinking of it like that. So I sent what I thought what I liked. And then I sent a version of how Gabe kind of directed me. And I ended up getting booked. And then I've been working on DAZN since 2018. You know, so
likewise, it's a give and take of what you did. I remember there was, they were talking about Fox. You did something for Thanksgiving, and I think you sent me your audition as well because we both went for it. It was like a Thanksgiving football thing.
The football, yep.
And I remember they wanted young but gravitas and still like exciting. And, you know, I give my shot on what I think is young, gravitas, and exciting. And then I hear Enrique books it. I'm like, okay, I got to hear what he did. And I'm like, wow, like he was, I don't know how, but he managed to combine all of those elements in one read. And gravitas and happy, like those are
don't
kind
go
of,
together. Yeah,
those
not
don't
really.
really go together.
Yeah.
So when you're able to get it, I'm like, okay, you know, you're learning from each other, and it's iron sharpens iron, like you said, Trey. That's a really good point.
Yeah,
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, you have to think of it that way because there are not many people. You know, some people will pay for coaches and training, and those people are paying to sharpen you. But I think the dynamic that I think is dope for y'all, because you are friends, is like, look, I want to see my boy eat. So look, bruh,
Yeah.
if you're saying in theaters, nah, that ain't it. Why
Right.
don't you try in theaters? Or, you know, just little inflections and things that'll give you an advantage. Even if that means that when Jason Marks call, you like, what's up, man? Yeah, so we gave it to Enrique. Okay, that's what's happening.
yeah,
Because it could be the other way. You like, okay, bad. And you hang up like, if this.
God, dog.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because I have, you know, I've had people, we keep it 100 on here.
Come on, Doc.
When I was doing NASCAR, and to my knowledge, still, other than Andia Winslow, I'm the only cat that looked like us that was telling y'all NASCAR at Talladega, Sunday at 1:30 on Fox. And they was like, that ain't you. I'm like, that's your boy.
Yeah.
And I went to VO Atlanta,
Wow.
and I was surrounded by a lot of brothers that didn't look like us. And they were like, how did you get that? And I'm like,
I was gonna tell you, Trey, you beat out a lot of mofos on that joint, man. Oh my gosh, that I've seen that audition was rotating through.
Yes,
all
it was. Yes, it was. Wow. I remember that too. Yeah,
Congrats.
and I was happy for you when you booked it.
Yeah,
you know, because it's not like what somebody. I'm trying to be right here, but it's not what somebody would think someone that looks like us would work on.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Because they're like, you know, what do you know about NASCAR?
But it was a North Star.
I can know a lot.
It's like,
you know?
Yeah, it was a North Star for us. It's like, well,
NASCAR.
If Trey's able to do it, if a brother's able to get to it, okay, now there's a lane for us to work in that space.
Yeah.
So, you know,
but I'll never forget.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Trey. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think that's the important thing too. You know, what that read and that campaign, I hope opened the eyes of people that we are not just basketball, football, track. Yeah, we can talk NASCAR, we can talk golf.
Yep.
You know, if you want, I could be like the 2023 curling championships live from Toronto. I can give you that, bro.
There you go.
But you gotta open the door and let me in, because I'm right now I'm at the glass like, I know what curling is, I can do that, but
That's
you know,
yeah.
But yeah,
right.
I got a lot of folks that were coming to me, almost like the audacity of it all. Like, how did you?
But that was the beginning.
I mean?
That was the beginning, Trey,
yes, sir.
of the shift.
Sir.
You know what I mean? And you know, and you both know what I'm talking about. That was the beginning of the shift. When Gabe and I went to VO Atlanta, we went to the CNN panel, and I can't remember the producer's name. The lady, the producer
Denise.
from CNN, Denise.
Yeah.
So we're sitting in the crowd, and she was talking about a campaign that she was running for CNN. It had to do a lot about like fashion in America, you know, over the years, over the decades. And she was like, you know, we sent the audition out, and I knew from day one we just had to have a black woman. And Gabe and I were like, huh? And she starts to go into depth about like, you know, there's just, you know, black voices just have so much texture and there's so much color, and it's just something white people just can't replicate. And we were sitting there, our jaws were on the floor, and we were like,
and I didn't go to the conference that year, but I did not know that she went. Wow,
she came out,
and like she did it. She was stark serious about it. Like, you know, she's on the panel, like talking to all these people about it. Gabe and I are sitting there like, did she just say that? And we started to see, and honestly, 2018 is really when we started to see the shift in the auditions and what they were looking for, and you know, the specs that were a little out there in the beginning. Because Gabe and I had some discussions about it, and we went to John Wasser about it and was like, yo, y'all need to talk to these producers. Either y'all need to edit these specs before we get them, or y'all need to do something.
Yeah.
You know?
I got tired of seeing Donald Glover's name so much. I'm like, y'all know there's other black people out there. There's other brothers that ain't Donald.
Man, I had a spec once that said, just act like you're standing in the street with your boys. I said, excuse me?
Crazy.
And the crazy thing is I booked the job.
Because we know what to do, right?
Yeah.
We know what to, like, we know how to put it on, and we know how to read between. Well, we not read now. It's a little bit read between lines, but back in the a couple of years ago, before George Floyd, it was some craziness on that description, and how people were describing, like, angry black man or talking to your homies on the streets and stuff like that. And
urban was the key. Urban was a big hot word. Yeah. I don't see it as much. I'll be honest. I definitely don't see it.
I'll tell you what they replaced it with. Swagger.
Yeah.
I can dig swagger though, because it's better than urban, because you can have swag and not come from an urban place. You know what I mean?
You can tell, because there's certain promos and certain things that I have gotten, and you guys have probably gotten too. And they're like, we want realistic, but we also want to have swagger. I'm like, so what you trying to say is
right.
We know what you're trying to say, but come on out and say
come on out and say it.
So let's touch on that. Being that you guys are definitely going to be the next generation of VO talent for Black and brown folk. How does it feel knowing that you're going to be ushering in what, for all intents and purposes, is the future of voiceover? Because if you think about it, you can watch TV now. 5 commercials will come on. 4 will be voices. You go, I didn't know he booked that. That's my girl. It is, you don't hear other folks on these spots as much now. Even, and pick a genre, any genre. It's like, pick a card, any card. Go to commercials. It's like, okay, that was so-and-so. You go to promos. Like the other night, I heard Thursday Night Football. There's a new show on Fox that Dominic King is doing. I heard Chiquina on Cartoon Network. And I'm like, oh, we just eating out of these. And we are definitely putting some seasoning up in this piece. How does that make you guys feel being a part of it, knowing that finally they starting to notice that we can give more, and it's opening doors for more of us to come in. At VO Atlanta this year, and I went to the very first one back in 2012, maybe 75 people. And of those 75 people, maybe 10 were Black. This year, we had so many, it was like going to church, and he had the overflow room because there's too many people on first Sunday.
Man, listen.
We had an overflow because I did a panel. It was me, Zeke Austin, Donovan was the host, and Valentina Latina. And when I tell you, it was so many people in that joint, to the point to where people were complaining to J. Michael Collins, like, well, how come the Black panel got the smallest room in that piece, but we the ones who filled that mug up? Yeah. So, but yeah, talk to us about that and how you guys feel being that next generation that's going to now carry that torch.
I feel pretty good. I mean, I know, Gabe and I talk a lot about the amount of work that we put in, like, to get to this point in our careers. And, I look at like a Donovan, a Rod Houston, a Dave Fenoy as people that kind of paved the way for us, and to have the opportunity to help continue to leave a trail behind us that people are able to follow and able to see, and and also drawing the interest of wanting to do voiceover. Because, when I speak to, I go around and do like motivational speaking. I do a lot of mentorship. And when I talk about what I do, like, people are like, I didn't even know that was a job. Like, I didn't even know people, especially people that I just assumed it was some white dude, And I go, you don't have to do this. You can be, this is something that is accessible. Is it? But I also preface it by saying it's like any other career. You got to bust your tail, if you really want to be successful. But just to know that we have an opportunity to be able to help bring up another generation of young stars that want to do what we do. It's a really humbling feeling. It's a lot of gratitude, just because I know Gabe and I got into this because we love doing this. We really enjoy it. So, and we know the passion that really drives our craft. So just to kind of start to see that from a younger generation, some high schoolers, some college students. It's nice. It's really nice.
I think we haven't seen anything like it, bro. Like what you're talking about, Trey, with turn on the TV, you got Black voices just scattered everywhere.
Yes, sir.
It's almost a renaissance of some sort, and I welcome it and I love it, and I'm just like, this is what we still, and frankly, we want more, because for a long time we didn't have that. For a long time it was just like that. You play that specific role. It blows my mind when I see an email coming in from an exec at Marvel saying, "Hey, we like Black Panther." What? Or like the Marvels or whatever. I get to read on like, I always thought tentpole movies like that went to, them folks, you know what I'm saying?
They did.
And they did.
No more.
But and now things are changing, and it's opening some ground for new folks to come on in. Black men, Black women in general. That I keep telling. It's like, it just, because people are gonna want something fresh and something new. And they don't want to go, back to the way they've been doing things before. So man, it's a dream come true. It really is.
Yeah, it's and may more doors open. If y'all close them, we just gonna kick them down.
Kick them down. Yeah.
But so let's talk about transitions. EJ was a football player.
Yes, sir.
And then he transitioned into doing VO. But what I think is cool about that, a small percentage of the VO that you do is sports related. Do you think that your time, and this is a two-part, so you think your time in football helped you more to be more relatable with NFL films and the sports things you do? And then Gabe, you were a singer and still sing. Shout out to King's Return. And
shout out to King's Return.
Yeah, no, them. Hey, if y'all don't know who them cats are, come on,
look them up. Look them up.
Thanks for the shameless plug.
I know Vegas is Sin City, but there got to be some AME, some touch around here getting these boys in town. That's all I'm saying. But transition. So you go from music to VO. For both of you, do you feel that those other lives that you had helped into your transition into the VO that you're doing now?
Most definitely. Football, I was an offensive lineman, so I used to be at like 330 pounds. I was a tank. Yeah, and a lot of people say that. They're like, I don't see it. Yeah, I was a tank. I wish maybe I'll send you a picture. You can add it in post and let people know. But my neck was like this. So, I used to bench like 315 12 times.
Jesus.
My 225 rep max was 22 times as a sophomore in college. Like,
good night.
We went hard. I went pretty hard, but
I remember those days before I lost both rotator cuffs, but we're not going to talk about that.
But as much as football played a big part in kind of giving me the insight of the game, right? And understanding concepts, schemes, blocking schemes, offensive schemes. Really what helped me in voiceover was the fact that football helped me as a producer at NFL Films. So I was a producer at NFL Films first. And that really helped me transition into voiceover because I know how producers think, because I was one. And also I was doing as much as I could to try and get a voiceover opportunity while I was working there. And I ended up doing that. But having that producer background, knowing what it's like on the other side of the glass, I think helped accelerate my understanding of voiceover a lot quicker. Picking up the ideas, picking up the concepts, picking up like promos. Like I used to write promos. I used to write I did a documentary on the Colts and I narrated it, so it was like I understood copywriting. I understood, themes in copy and all that type of stuff. So when it came to actually breaking down copy from a voiceover standpoint, it was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like I need to hit this beat here because I would add a SOT, or I would add some B-roll, or I would add a cut or something like that. So I was like, oh, okay, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So I think having that production background as a writer, editor, director, producer really helped me transition into VO a lot faster.
Nice.
Yeah, and for me, music, I mean, as you know, Trey and EJ, I mean, plays a huge role on pacing, promos. Like one of the things that I use all the time, and this is a trick that I'm sure people do, but something that's very important for me when it comes to auditioning. If there's a trailer or if there's music or something of a commercial or something that they give us, I like to have it on at a real low level, but where I can hear it and I can read to it. So that I'm already in the space, I'm in the groove of the tone of whatever project I'm working on. And again, that comes from that musical background and understanding, if it's a happy song, you need to be singing it happy. If it's a sad song, you gotta have to find and measure that. And with rhythm, I think, especially when you're doing network promo and you've got to feel what 3.25 seconds feels like.
Right.
It's music tremendously helps with that BPM and understanding those language. And a lot of our producers, they'll use stuff like, could you not make it staccato? Could you make it more smooth here? And you already know what they're talking about. So the transition from music is I think very seamless. And I think a lot of folks in VO are a lot of the good ones too are somewhat musically inclined, and they know what the stuff feels like and how to manipulate their ranges, how to sing, talk in a more bass, how to more high. It's all a part of it. So yeah, definitely the transition. It was smooth.
Yeah, I sang in the choir. I was a first tenor, and one summer I woke up and I wasn't, and I had to learn how to adjust to this voice. I can still get into a pretty good falsetto, but me and my wife were singing this song. Like when we first met, I could in my sleep close my eyes and hit the note, and she's like, "Hit it, baby." I'm like, "Nah, girl." That ship done sailed, baby. Maybe in 2005 I could have did that, but because even as you get older, your voice naturally is going to drop and mature.
Yeah,
I can even say, from when I started doing VO in 2009 to now, I've gotten even lower. I've listened to stuff back then. I'm like, who is that young dude? And like, that's you. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am a strong proponent. Usually the most musical people, and I don't coach as much as I used to, but a lot of I call them my theater babies. You can tell who's in the theater. You can tell who was in music or somewhere where they have learned tempo, pacing, tone. They also accept direction well. If you tell them, hey, give me a quarter of that, they know right then, not too much, not too little, but just they find that spot and you're like, okay, cool.
Exactly.
So let's have a little fun. Both of you, I feel like the old man in the group. Young cats under 30. Well, at 30. Wait, who turned 30 first? You just turned 30.
I'm 31. So
yeah,
I turned 30 in January.
That is correct.
Let's go.
So, speaking of, and also let's give our young brother his flowers for hitting the Forbes list.
Oh
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm just saying, we gonna, we give love on this show. If you got it, we gonna let the people know.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you talked about Renaissance and in a Renaissance era, and the both of you guys are examples of that. Gabe, you, in addition to doing VO, you have your group. I mean, bro, you were nominated for a Grammy, man. Like, come on, dog.
Mind blowing.
Y'all don't understand what we got on this show today. They're the future, most definitely, but they also right now. So I need y'all to understand, what I got in front of me. But like I was saying, being that you guys are at an age that, for me, 30 was like that age where I'm like, all right, I got all my stuff together. Or so I think. And then all of a sudden, everything is just like here, and then you go, and that drop fall. You're like, I wasn't ready for that, Lord. What you doing to me?
Right on.
How is it for both of you balancing with the amount of work that we do. You have family, you have, and speaking inward, your wives, speaking outward, brothers and sisters and cousins and whatever. Like, how do you find the balance to say, okay, look, I got 6 promos, 2 trailers, and 1 narration to do, and she's still talking about, is we going out to eat or what? So I know for me, my wife is pretty. She's to the point to where if I tell her, hey, I got a couple of things, she's like, well, child, I'll just leave you something downstairs. It's like, I'm like, I'm coming. Give me a minute. Do you find that it's easier or more difficult to find that work-life balance? Because people think we just sit here and talk all day, but there's more to it. How do you get the balance in?
Gabe, I'm gonna let you go first, man, because you got the crazy schedule.
Oh
man.
yeah, this dude. He need a teleporter to get what he doing, man.
It's that work-life balance is a scam to me. I think it is what you make it.
Mm-hmm.
It is what you make it. I don't think that there's a way where you can get everything just because there's always going to be something that's going to tip more. It's just how it is. You got to put your focus in one area. And so for me, I've had to do things like I have my midweek weekends, what I call it, where Wednesdays I don't do anything. I sleep in. I try not to take supervised sessions. I do all unsupervised on Wednesdays. I keep it chill. So then Monday, Tuesday, I go hard. Wednesday, I rest. Thursday, Friday, I go super hard. And then Saturday, Sunday's here and I'm chilling on it. But that for me gives me that, because if I'm going hard Monday through Friday, with everything I've got going on, as you know, with trailers, they're calling you at every minute, like emails blowing up. Then you got promos. They're like, we need you yesterday. And then you got to, like, if you do that, you get lost. And dude, there was a time, and I don't always like telling the story because it makes it sound like, oh, boo. But like, there was a time where I was working on 11 movies at one time.
Yo.
And this was I remember thinking to myself, I don't think I want to do this. Like, I don't think this is something, because it was just every 15 minutes I was getting called. I was getting, asked to, hey, could you come here? Could you do this session here? Could you, here's a supervised session here. And it was just like, my day was just full with that. And I was like, I can't live. I can't do, So it wasn't until I made a definitive, like, I talked to the team and I say, hey, listen, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm not going to do. Don't nobody do it like that. You're going to lose on opportunity. Money will always come and go. That's the thing with these opportunities. They will always come and go. And so I prioritized my health, my mental health, and my family. And, that's going to be here forever. This stuff here, man, one day they want you to be the voice of, and next day they don't. So
okay, for sure.
So you have to prioritize yourself. And I think, EJ, we talked about this as well. Like, there's been moments where, they'll call me and they'll say, hey, we can't get a hold of EJ because he's at, I don't know what it is. Could you read on this? And I'm like, it's Saturday. Or I call EJ, like, they call me. And EJ's like,
I remember.
I told him, hey, this is a big campaign. He's like, I told him I'm going to be with family. And you have to have that type of cut. Because if you don't, they're not going to do it. They're just going to, they're not going to do it. So anyway, that's me. Sorry. I hug it, but.
No, that's cool.
Gabe is totally right. And, and I think the other thing is, like, knowing his wife, Karina, and my wife, Bridget, we have wives that are incredibly supportive and understanding that like my wife and I were going to a jazz concert. We go into the city, park the car, get to the venue. My butt touches the chair.
Ring.
Jason Helsner calls, yo, man, I got a hot rush. And I just go back and I like, babe, I'll just turn and be like, baby. She's like, did he call you? I was like, yeah. And she'd be like, just go. She's like, just go knock it out. I was like, all right. So she understands, but, and my wife and our wives have been with us before we really started getting it popping. When I told my wife that this is what I want to do, she's like, you want to do what now? And how, like, how much you gonna be making in the beginning? I was like, well, not a lot, but I love it. She was like, you better keep that teaching job you got. And I was like, all right. So, but just having the support.
Oh yeah.
And I think Gabe is exactly right about like, you really make it what you put the time in if you want to. Like, I understand that if I want to really do this trailer thing, I got to make sacrifices. Like, I know it. Like, there are times where I sit at home all night just waiting for a scratch. Even if it doesn't even come, they might say, hey, we're going to send Enrique some stuff tonight. It's Friday night. I tell Babe, I'm staying at the crib just in case. Now, we got our mobile rigs. That's a whole nother conversation. Because, oh, man, my first gig signed with Atlas was doing daytime talk show promos for Harry Connick Jr. every day. And I was 25, and I'm sitting there like, I gotta stay home all day. I can't go out. I can't go out. So when I was working on Harry, I was like, I'm making a mobile rig because I'm not gonna be 25 sitting at home all day.
You know what's so funny is that it's kind of a millennial way of thinking, right? Because we're just kind of like, we gotta be where for how long and what?
Right.
And for the older folks like a John or a lot of these like veterans, they're like, this is you stay in that studio until the freaking sun it comes back up,
Yo, they had a hard time with us in the beginning. They had a hard time because we would tell them, we're going away for a week. John's like, you can't go nowhere. You can't do when it was funny because when we came to John and told him that we were going to Mexico together, we expected John to like freak out. Like, we thought he was gonna freak out. And he was like, all right. Just let us know what your itinerary's like. We'll work it out. And I remember I talked to Gabe. I said, did he talk to you like that? And he was like, yeah, he was like surprisingly calm. But that's because that came from years of us telling John, listen, we're going to be out. But I'm like, have I ever missed a session? No. I've never missed a session.
You guys are going to be having fun.
Yeah, you know how he is. Yeah,
be safe and be careful.
Okay. All right.
Well,
you know,
when you get back, okay?
And I appreciate it. Now if you know John, and for those of you listening, John Wasser is an agent at Atlas Talent Agency. And John is when you sign with Atlas and you start working with John, and in the beginning when you're green and you're figuring things out, he's very hard on you because he has a certain level of expectation. So Gabe and I went to LA for the holiday party. And it was my first time going to the holiday party in LA. And I also, and I was doing promos and stuff. Gabe left the day after the party at like, I don't know, your flight was at like 4 a.m. or something.
4 a.m., yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, why are you leaving so early? Like, we got home at 12. I'm like, because we got an Airbnb together. And I was like, yo, why are you leaving so early? I left my naive behind, left at like 2 p.m.
Oh boy.
I'm at LAX. I get a phone call from John. Hey, where you at? I was like, at the airport. And he was just like, what do you mean? I'm going home. Why are you at the airport? I got CBS needing to read with you in 10 minutes. And then I was like,
that's a 4-hour flight, 5-hour flight or whatever.
It's 6. It's 6 for
Six?
me. It's 6 for me. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to make that. And I didn't hear the end of it. It was a lesson learned, and I learned my lesson. But I told John over time, I was like, look, I'm the type of person, first of all, I'm a grown man. I don't need you yelling at me. 1. 2, I'm the type of person that's like, you tell me to do something, and I'm going to do it. Like, I will do it, And I know Gabe and I, we like to run our voiceover business like business, where we do business, we do relationship management. We handle the clientele. Like, we don't, Atlas, will facilitate, help us get auditions and stuff like that. But once we get the account, we actually are our own basically account executives.
Exactly.
Because that's just, it just feels like, why have extra, and no, nothing against the agency, but it's like, why have that extra communication when the producer can just call me and we can set up a session, knock it out, call it a day, and then I'll just CC them when I send it in. And that's how it works, but I also like to be hands-on with the clients. I like building the relationships. I also like business and enjoy business a lot. So part of some of the things I do outside of VO too.
I'll tell y'all a quick story. It is our second anniversary as husband and wife. No, I take that back. It's our third. We are on our way to dinner. And at that time, I was doing this mini series that was on ABC during Nightline. It's called Turning Point. And we driving, and there's an Italian restaurant she wanted to always take me to. So I'm like, all right, baby, let's get it. And ABC calls me directly. And I'm like, oh
my.
So I pressed the button in the car. I'm like, hey, it's like, so listen, we got a couple of spots we need you to cut that we're going to air tonight before the show. Can you do them? I'm like, we've already emailed them to you. Okay. I was like, yeah, I got you. And I'm like, I don't get it.
I don't get it.
When I tell
you always say yes. You always say yes.
Figure it out later.
When I tell you God has a sense of humor, because the next two red lights that I was at, they were between 15 and 30 seconds long. And I fired off some takes from my iPhone. And then, and luckily because we had a hybrid car at the time before we got the electric car, it was very quiet. So I'm like, tonight at 8 on ABC. It's an only turn. I'm like really getting it in. I'm like, okay, I played it back. And I'm like, it sounds good, but I can still hear a little ambient. So I emailed, I text, well, you guys know Trakina. And she says, hey, by the way, because I told her I was interviewing. Like, tell my nephews I said, hey,
I was going to say, auntie.
So auntie said, what's happening? I'm like, Kina, clean these up as best you can and then send them back to me. By the time we pulled up to the restaurant, she sent them back to me. I listened. I'm like, all right, boom. Sent to the ABC bros. By the time we ate and got back to the crib and hit ABC, Turning Point tonight, it was already on the air, dude.
Wow. That's what's crazy, because I, and no shade to folks, they harping on this mobile rig, and you gotta, but a lot of times these mother suckers don't know. We be recording from some peculiar places and peculiar ways to get the work done, and it's not always a boom.
No, sir.
Or whatever.
I traveled when we moved from Florida to Vegas, and I explicitly told everybody, got me in my high voice right now. I'm on the road. Don't send me nothing. Dude, I had like 7 sessions.
You can't.
I'm pulling over in gas stations. Got my 416 like this.
Yeah. Oh man,
this is WCNC Charlotte. I'm like, I'm not done yet. Hit that button for me, baby. Right? Okay.
Oh my gosh.
You don't. The key is to never tell them when you're leaving. Honestly, I learned that, and because when you know how it is, whenever you book a vacation, you tell them you're going to be, you're booking out, you're going away.
That's when the work come.
We have 30 sessions lined up for you between today and Wednesday, and it's Monday.
Awesome.
And I'm like, y'all know I'm not around, right?
It's insanity. I mean, I booked some of my biggest stuff on the road, and when I'm not looking for it, I'm like, y'all, I'll be sitting in the desk like, do I suck today? What's going on? Why don't you give it to me then? You wait for me to go off, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna forget, I'm gonna go on my life, and then they start calling. It's ridiculous, but it
happens every time.
To the point about recording, I'll be on the road with King's Return, and we'll sing, and at our 15-minute intermission, I got to run backstage, record spots, trailers, and promos, or like if there's a line I got to pick up. I mean, they already know what's good. Like they're like, Gabe's going to the back to go read, and then I get back on stage, perform, and then I get back, I record some more, we go meet our fans, and I do this every night just to keep the flow of everything. And thankfully, we have a job, because if we moved this even like 10 years ago or something like that, we probably wouldn't be able to move the way we're moving right now. No. But the work that we do allows us to really, be anywhere and still have a thriving career, that's a blessing.
And actually, prime example, just today, my wife and I were in the car. We had to go run some errands, and I had to drop some documents off. And I was in the car, and I knew I had a session with ABC coming up. And now they told me it was freeform. And I was like, okay. So when it's freeform, they always phone patch, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Turns out it was ABC. And whenever I work with ABC, they're IPDTL, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like calling them because it's like the agents didn't tell me how they planned on connecting with me. And they were like, and mind you, I leave the house. I don't go nowhere without my rig. All right. But I get the call, or I talk to the producer. Oh yeah, we got you set up on. I'm already on your IPDTL. I was like, IPDTL.
Y'all ain't tell me that.
Yeah,
I was like, nobody told me nothing. I thought it was phone patch. So, connected my iPhone to my MacBook.
Oof.
I had 2 bars of service.
Woof.
IPDTL ran like butter.
Oh wow.
Really?
Like butter. I did an IPDTL session for it was for NBA on ESPN with ABC.
Mm-hmm.
In the car, front seat, IPDTL. I think that was a first. I've done Source Connect, but I don't know if I've done IPDTL.
Yeah, I've done Source Connect, but not with IPDTL.
I've done IPDTL. It's a beauty. Yeah, I've recorded with
great.
it on. I've done a lot of Fox stuff, just in the car, like in, just a hotspot, and it's worked. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like what Gabe was saying 10 years ago, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I might have been home, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sitting at the house
There's
all
no
day,
way.
There's
no way.
But a lot has changed. And also our mobile rigs have seen quite the evolution over the years. We constantly talk to each other about what kind of gear we're using. I remember when we went to Mexico, he got the new Volt from Universal Audio, and I was asking, yo, how is it? And he's like, yeah, it's all right, but I kind of like the Aero better. And he went back to the Aero. So, because I was looking at investing in that
I stand firm on my Aero. I will.
Yeah.
It's like your boy in Mo Better Blues. Blink, I won't sell it.
Yeah, and
I won't sell it.
I'm thinking about getting another one. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting another one as a backup, because I know you just had an issue.
Mine died. I mean, I got it in 2017. But mine gave up. It said I can't do it anymore. So I upgraded it to the new Aero. It's silver now. It's good. I mean, I plug and play. Like that's what we need. And Trey, like with the phone thing, I was telling Enrique this. I'm like, the day I find a way to just record in top-notch quality on my phone in a way that I like it, you will never hear from me again. Because I'm just like, I'm trying to figure out a way to simplify versus lugging this. I used to lug around this booth. This
the one that went to Mexico that never got opened.
Never again.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we thought that it was really gonna do so, and then I'll never forget. Gabe was like, yo, come over, because our rooms in Mexico were next to each other. So he was like, yo, come over to my room. I just got to knock out some reeds. And our wives were hanging out or whatever. So I went in there. Gabe is just in the room. No pillows, no blankets.
No fort at all.
No nothing. And I'm just standing there like, that's okay? And he was like, bro. He's like, the 416 is so good, they don't even know.
Yeah, it's super directional. You got to be right in front of it.
Yeah, as long as you're right up on it.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
And honest, ever since then, bro, ever since that day, I'm like, I'll be in the car or whatever. Babe's like, don't you want the bass traps? No. Leave them in the trunk. Leave them in the trunk. Because I got bass traps for the car. Yeah, and I was like, nah, we're just gonna get rid of them. I don't need that. I'm gonna get right up on the mic.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with this plugin called CVOX.
So tell me about it, because I've heard some good things about it. What is it?
Let me tell you.
To me.
So our downstairs I'm in the studio here, everything is pretty contained. But outside, and when you go downstairs, because that's where all the action is, TV's going, she's in the kitchen. I have had that CVOX on, using it with my Aero, and you gotta fine tune it. But once you get it to where it is, it's just like you're in here. It takes it takes everything out. And I have used it now downstairs for a couple of things where I couldn't like run back upstairs real quick. I'm like, okay, well, my Aero's down here. Let me just and hit it. Let me tell you.
I'm looking at it now, Doc.
Game changer, baby. I'm telling you.
So I kind of cheated in a different way. So I bought the Tri booth a few years ago, right, from George Whittam and Rick Wasserman. And when you purchase the Tri booth, you get a tune-up session with George Whittam, right? And he makes this preset for hotel rooms. Like if people are running in the hallway, slamming doors, all that. So really, the preset is in the Aero, and it basically does a great job of knocking out outside noise. When he made me that preset, he didn't make it on my Twin in the studio. He made it on my Aero. And I actually use that in the car. So if it's raining, I was sitting next to a highway today when I was tracking on IPDTL, and that the engineer on the other end is hearing everything. And I had that preset running, and when he was playing it back to me, it sounded like I was in here. So I kind of cheat in a different way. I use that preset as my, noise filter for the outside world,
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
That's dope. All right, man. Before I let y'all go,
man, this has been great, Trey. I gotta admit, this has been.
Oh yeah, I told you we had fun on here, man. We just some fellas kicking it. So, with work there is reward.
Okay.
And sometimes the reward takes a while to get there because you got to put in the work.
Yeah.
But now that you young fellas are at a certain height in your careers where the rewards are looking really nice, I want each of you to tell me that one thing that you bought that was just, and I know you like, what, I only spend for this, I only spend for that, but I'm sure y'all got that one thing you like, you know what, baby, you just gotta understand, swipe, and it was done.
Yeah. I have an idea of what Gabe may say, but for me personally, it was my first Tesla, and Gabe and I got our Teslas within like a week of each other. He got it, and I was already on the and I know you got one too, Trey. So
Yes, sir.
When because Gabe and I, first of all, there's two outside of VO. There are two things that Gabe and I talk about all the time. It's Apple products and Teslas.
That
like,
dude, Mr. Gabriel Kunda, I don't care if Apple come out with shoestrings.
Bro, I'm the same way.
Posting.
I'm the same way. Yo, we literally like
I
iPhone.
have never seen. I didn't know you were like that too, EJ.
Yo, I'm bad.
That one right there.
Yeah, I'm bad. Yo, we were in Mexico when they dropped the Mac Studio, right? Mm-hmm. And we basically were like, this is what we've been talking about for years, bro. This is what we've been talking about for years. I bought mine in Mexico so that when I got home, it was on my doorstep. We literally got home, and the next day UPS showed up with it. Because I was like, we've been talking about this forever. iPads, iPhones, AirPods, Apple Pencils. Apple. I got the Apple Watch Ultra. We met up in New York. Gabe's like, yo, how is that thing? I was like, just buy it. I was like, just buy it. Just buy it. Yeah, he had the Ultra. Nah, we're big Apple fans. Like, just always have been.
Everything in here just about that helps with the business or not. I got my iPhone here, my pad. I don't have my watch on now because it's charging. I'm on my Mac.
Yep.
I mean, and I got her she has an AirBook for school. She has her watch as well, and she has a Mac, a desktop. Mm-hmm. So we have converted to the Church of Mac. Hallelujah, amen.
Can you say right off?
Oh, for sure. You better believe it.
Yeah, right off.
I just got what is it? M1, M3?
That's it.
Yeah, I just got one. Yeah. So I'm back into my music production. And what I didn't want to do is have the MacBook that I do for my travel rig and my VO. I didn't want my music stuff on there. Yeah. So I was like, let me see what they. Ooh.
Yeah. And that's all it takes. That shiny Apple logo.
You just need my credit.
Yep.
That's it. Apple Pay.
Click, you'll drop it off.
Yeah. Click.
You drop it off today. Click.
Yeah.
So I got this shiny black. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
And I like delivery. But when it says it's at like my local Apple store, I'm just gonna go pick it up. I ain't got nothing to do. Yeah. I want to walk in there and walk out with that bag. You know what I mean? With that bag, I need the bag.
I feel you. I feel you. We were at the Grove in LA, and I just went in to look around, and I knew I wanted a new iPad. And I was like, "Oh, that's cute." But you happen to have these in the store. We have a whole bunch in the bag. I'll take one thing.
Yeah. And you know what? And going back to your original question about the one item that from the reward, from the fruits of our labor, I also think it is the ability to say, hey, I want this thing. I don't necessarily mind how much it costs.
Yes, sir.
Because I can afford it because I really want it. And I know when we went to Mexico, we were having oysters. We were having grilled oysters, which I'm happy to say I turned Gabe and his wife on to grilled oysters.
We're sold.
Oh boy,
yeah, they're sold.
Approved, man. Yes, sir.
I did not know that. I'm now converted, so I'm grateful.
Oh yeah, and we were having dinner, and we actually had this discussion, and our wives were saying how it's like weird when they talk about like, I kind of want like a new iPad. Like I feel like I need, my old one, mine is really old, or like my wife had her MacBook from 2011. Like that thing was a dinosaur. And I'm like, babe, this is a weapon,
Yeah.
And I'm like, babe, let me just buy you a new computer. She's like, yeah, but mine works. I'm like, it don't work when it ain't plugged in. So like, it don't work. So let me just get you one. And she's like, all right. Like she like feels bad. And I'm like, babe, I don't mind. And like, it's okay. Like we are in a position, we've been blessed enough to be able to do things, and to, spending money on her is like, that's no big deal, So I feel blessed that we have the opportunity to have purchasing power, to buy the things that we want and the things that we need,
Yeah.
For me, there's been a couple things where I've just been like, I'm doing it. Swipe, One was a watch. I finally got my first Rolex. And let me tell you something about that, nice. Man. You want to talk about an exclusive society? I didn't realize that you can't just go into a Rolex store and ask for a Rolex.
No, sir.
And that blew my. I was like, "Is this racism? What is going on?"
Whoa! Like what? Like what do you like? You gotta like elaborate on the experience.
Yeah, you go in there and then you say, "I'm looking for a Submariner, a Rolex," and they're like, "Oh, that's nice. Here's a list of people who are also looking for the same thing. Write your name down. We'll give you a call."
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a year before they called me and tell me we finally have it in, Mr. Kunda. You can come in and sit. Now, mind you. Like that, they got it. They got it.
It's there, but just not for you. Not today.
Just not for you.
Yeah,
it's very exclusive. Anyway, that was one of the things that I got. But then one other one was I love cameras and stuff, and so I went to the camera store and I saw they had a Leica camera, and those things are from Germany, and the pictures and the vintage quality of it, it's beautiful. And I was like, swipe. Didn't even look at the numbers, and then when I looked at the receipt, I was like, wait a minute, I didn't know it was so It was like, what's so expensive? Oh, it's the lens, this small little lens. What is this? Anyway, so that was a thing, amongst other things. But
I'm a big camera head too. One day, and I have yet to pull the trigger just because I'm just so deathly afraid, but I always love Hasselblads. And I got a chance to hold one.
Wow.
And them folks was looking at me like, you have to give it back. I'm like, I know.
Hasselblad's no joke. Leica and Hasselblad, no joke.
Top of the chain.
Yeah, they are luxurious photography items, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. But boys and their toys, man.
And
plus, for me, just because I'm a big old kid, I collect a bunch of Transformers.
Let's go, Trey.
Growing up, I tell my friends, I'm like, a lot of the things that I have in here is for 8-year-old Trey who couldn't afford it, whose mom couldn't afford it. So now, if you guys ever come to the crib, I got Transformers and G.I. Joes and Thundercats. I got a figurine of Wolverine and Luke Cage right here. As a matter of fact, I got Jazz from the '85 Transformers.
Wow.
It's.
Oh, it's not a joke.
Yeah, you're no joke, man.
There's a few commas and zeros up in this piece, bro.
Yeah,
we got to get you in Transformers, man.
Man. You got to be the new Jazz, man. You need to be the new Jazz.
Ice
think about that.
I collect vintage vinyl. I have this one album that my daughter actually got for me. It is Prince. Um, and what a lot of people don't know, well, if you're not in music, but
Mhm.
a lot of stuff for the time and Sheila E. And he wrote all that. This
Yep.
album is him demoing all the songs.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm like, you
Wow.
are daughter of the year, baby. Yeah, she
Wow.
she she looked out for daddy
How
on
did
that.
she snuff that one out?
Hey, I don't know what magic she did, but
Yeah.
when I saw
Wow.
them, like, oh, but
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
That's gold.
yeah, that's what's up, man. So let's wrap it
Wow.
up. So as you guys know, the name of my podcast is called Take Time Out with Tre. So Gabe and EJ, and we kind of touched on it with you guys traveling and stuff, but how do you all take time out for yourselves?
Oh yeah, I love playing video games. I just like that's kind of my space. I created a little video game booth for myself where I can just go in there and get lost. And I love streaming too. Like I have like some fans of the work that I do, whether that be video game or animation or whatever. Or anime. They'll come in and watch me play games, and we'll interact. And it's a fun moment, I think. For me to just kind of let loose, talk to people who are familiar with my work and play games and react together. And then another thing, which is so interesting because it's starting to turn into a job as well, is singing with the group. I
Yeah.
love our rehearsal time when we get together and get to work out these chords, jazz chords, and listen to Take Six and try to figure out how we can make it sound like that. That is so therapeutic to me. I love it. I love it. I love it. And yeah, so those are a couple.
Yeah, and I know for me, video games also, I'm a big PlayStation head. I love playing, like, I like playing on like multiplayer, but I also enjoy diving into like linear story mode games. Because I always love, I think that video games are such a fantastic medium of storytelling.
Absolutely.
I love all types of stories. I watch a lot of cartoons, TV shows, movies, play video games, a lot of animation. So I always love to hear new stories and see new stories. But, with video games, it's interactive. You're a part of the story.
Yeah.
Another thing I love to do, I do a lot of mentorship. I mentor a lot. I like to mentor a lot of young men and a lot of young women, especially of color. But I also serve on a couple of boards. I'm on a governing board for a credit union, for a bank. And I'm also on a foundation board, which is more philanthropic, for a hospital.
Nice.
I want to be able to help people on a macro level, but the mentorship is helping people on a micro level. So, and for me, that is kind of like therapeutic. And that's like, I find a lot of joy in doing that. I love business development. I love helping to guide the credit union into the future, those kinds of things, asking hard questions, questioning, because basically the CEO of the bank is my employee. He answers to me and the other members of the board. But just like being young and being a man of color in spaces where usually I'm the only one, I enjoy that too.
For
So
sure.
yeah, for me, I love voiceover. Voiceover has done a lot for me. It's allowed me to do a lot of things, but I've never been the type of person to put all my eggs in one basket. I always want to set myself up for the future because, as we all know, our careers are incredibly volatile. Things could change tomorrow for any one of us, and obviously, we're not. We're going to speak into the universe that we get increase. Okay,
Hey, now.
increase. You know what I mean? But
Name it and
we
claim it.
also,
Name it and claim
yeah,
it.
but we also aren't naive. So we understand that it's good to have other plates spinning, and I know Gabe has other plates spinning. We talk about that a lot, making sure that we stay active. We got our hands, got our hands in different pots. So, and for me, I know one day I'd eventually like to serve on a private board and get paid to help a school or help a hospital or help whomever. Where I have other income coming in from that. So just to keep just in case, because you never know. So, but volunteering is something that I've been passionate about since high school. So, that's something I love to do a lot of.
Yeah, you have to have rivers have many different streams, you understand me? And you have to have different streams to survive in this economy. That's why when y'all see your boy barbecuing, it ain't just for show. Because if things go down, I got a little something put away. I'm just going to find me a nice brick and mortar and we just grill it.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, I'll be there. I'm a huge foodie, man. I love to cook. So I cook a lot. You know, I love to cook.
Barbecue ribs is my favorite type of food, Doc. And every time I see you make something, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I get upset that you're in Vegas. Like, I wish you were like in Philly or something so I could just drive over.
And they spelled your name wrong on Traeger.
Hey now. Y'all heard what he said. That's all I'm saying.
That'd be the plug. That'd be crazy if they sent you a Traeger that said Traeger. You know what I mean? Traeger.
So I did a spec thing that I sent to them, and I had my own campaign, which was called Trey for Traeger. I had a hashtag and everything.
Oh wow.
They reached out, but it didn't happen. But I still love my Traeger. I have a Traeger and I have a charcoal grill. All I'll say is this, gentlemen. I'm not sure when this podcast will air, but in real time, if you see any pictures during Christmas, because we're not doing a traditional thing. I know you like ribs, Gabe. You might want to stay off my page, boss.
Oh no.
Because they come.
I'm gonna be on the lookout.
But I will say this: whenever your feet should touch the sandy deserts of Vegas, I got y'all. Y'all come to the crib and I'll grill it up, man.
Make it a trip, BJ. We should make it a trip out there.
I was just telling Trey before you hopped on, we were going to the Super Bowl in Vegas, but I can't go anymore. So I was gonna hit him up, be like, "Yo, Trey, I'm coming for some barbecue. I know you got some ribs and some brisket and some steak."
I'm actually going to my butcher today. I have been as of late, and I've always loved them, but just a nice lamb chops.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get them now.
Yeah, love lamb chops.
When Christmas rolls around, I'm gonna do one slab of ribs and have some chops. I'm just saying.
All right, I gotta go eat.
Yeah, I know. But if you ever come out this way, Trey, let us know. We'll hook you up. My wife makes some mean. My wife she's half black, half Puerto Rican, so her black side, she has a really good oxtail recipe.
Oh, where? I got family in Germantown.
Oh, yeah. That's
I got family in Germantown, bro.
Germantown ain't far.
Yeah,
if you're in the area, hit me up.
I can hit the what is it? The Black Horse Pike, and
we're 5 minutes from the Black Horse Pike.
Really?
Yeah, we're like 5 minutes from Philly. We're right across the bridge from the city. Like where the Birds play
in Cherry Hill too, man. So I got folks.
We're 10 minutes from Cherry Hill, Trey. Come on, man. Come on, man. Now you gotta come. You come over. We'll open our home to you. Come hang with us. Come kick it. All right.
So
love
Texas
to have you over,
and
man.
Jersey, I got family in both places.
Yes,
Matter
sir.
of fact, the last time I was actually in Texas, and then we can rap for real. Our family reunion was in 2010, and we went to the Stockyards.
In Fort Worth, yeah. It's changed a lot for the better. I mean, it looks beautiful over there, and they got a whole swanky hotel and some nice food.
Okay,
actually, one of my favorite rib places over there. It's funny, yeah. But
I used to go to a joint over there called Cattleman's. I don't know if Cattleman's is still around. But
I'm not sure. I don't know.
You could literally walk into that restaurant and pick the meat that you want, and they would cook it for you.
Oh,
yeah, like that. So,
I like that.
I think that's a perfect segue to end the show. I am Tre Mosley, and once again, I want to thank my guests today, EJ Enrique Josephs and Gabe Kunda. Gentlemen, tell the fine folks how they can follow you and see what all's going on in your life on the socials.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, Gabe Kunda. That's just type in the name and you'll find me.
It's easy.
Yeah, I'm really just on IG for real. I don't be tweeting. I don't be Facebooking as much, but IG, Enrique J Media. You can DM me. I always keep my DMs open. If you got questions or anything about voiceover, want to get into voiceover, I'm always willing to talk to people that are interested in getting into the business. And I also have a resource guide that I give people, no charge, free of charge. So if you're ever looking to get started and got some questions or anything, feel free to hit me up. I'll be glad to send it to you. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. And we are out of here. Thanks for listening to the Take Time Out with Tre Mosley podcast, part of the Titan Media Network. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcasts. To see the video version of this, you can find us on YouTube on the Take Time Out with Tre Mosley YouTube page. Thanks for listening, or thanks for watching. Either way, we'll see you next time.